everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Mensaje or Monday Message, our weekly energy forecast. Thanks for being here with me, whether this is your first time or you are coming back to see what's up this week. I really appreciate it, and it's honestly been really fun and exciting to share these messages with you every week, share bits of my own story and my own journey. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so this week again, I'm using the Dolly Tarot. So his imagery definitely differs from the Rider-Waite deck. So head to my Instagram if you want to be able to visually see what this card looks like, because that is where I get a lot of these messages from. So first things first, our card that symbolizes the energy for the week ahead is the Page of Swords. You know, in this card specifically, the first thing that I noticed is it's almost like the page is emerging from some sort of cave, right? And that makes me think about how a lot of us, myself included, are sort of emerging from a reflective period. I know definitely over the weekend and last week as a whole, I was super reflective. I really did delve into the past, into some old wounds. Some of the stuff was involuntary. Things just come up, and then it sort of makes you reevaluate things from your past and looking at old situations with new lenses. So that was the first thing that came up. Like many of us, are emerging from a reflective period. Whether that was just over the weekend or the last week, or for me personally, over the last few months. I feel like I have, over the last few months, been really reevaluating some of my core beliefs, my values, how I want to live in the world, how I want to express myself, my inner and outer identity. There's so much going on there for so many of us. It's like we're in the midst of this transformation. And so when I saw him emerging from this cave, I'm thinking, okay, we're coming out of this reflective period with new clarity, right? Swords are about like our thoughts, and a lot of times can symbolize clarity coming into our lives, whether that's from an outside person or within yourself. And so I know that I'm sitting here today absolutely with some newfound clarity. And I hope that you are too, and if you're not quite there yet, know that you will be there soon. You have to face the things that you are perhaps avoiding in order to find this clarity. So this was also a symbol for me too, that every time I think I have, descended within to find this clarity, I think like I come out emerging, brand new and like with my head on straight and like with a clear way forward. Eventually the time comes where I have to learn again. So it's this reminder of the fact that these lessons that we're learning, we're never going to get to a place where, we're saying, that's it. I have learned every single thing I need to know, and I will never have to do any more shadow work, face any more lessons, and like sort of pivot and change course in my life. I always feel like, oh, I'm in such a great place, like, awesome, gonna relax. And then something else comes up and you're like, okay, wave two. So that was the energy that I got from it, right? So we're just trying to keep our head above water where we are in our journey so far. And so it's like, okay, I have my head above water. We are emerging from the depths within ourselves with this newfound clarity. And I think the number one thing that helps me do that, which is the next download that I received, is honoring truth. That for me, a lot of times, is what brings me this newfound clarity. Every time I look at a certain situation or, on the grander scale of my life when I reevaluate things, it's hard, I'm not saying that these truths that we're honoring are neat and they, are specifically in the black or white. Sometimes being honest with yourself is really, really hard, because the truth isn't necessarily what we're comfortable with. And it's like some things we really bury beneath the surface, and it's sort of a surprise to us when we admit it to ourselves. We're like, wow, I really can't believe that that's how I feel about that. But there are many times where that's not the case. And it's like, I always say, like, we're really good at convincing ourselves of things, not just other people. We're like the best at like manipulating ourselves, And so sometimes these things that come to light when you honor your truth, they're not easy to digest. And honesty with the self, I personally feel like, is the hardest honesty. That's real. That's within you. You know when you're bullshitting yourself, and you know when you're not. So maybe this week, right? I have this feeling of maybe this was over the weekend for a lot of you, including myself, but this could continue to unravel this week, right? Like honoring your own truth, complete and total honesty with the self. And I want to remind you, when you're doing that, you don't need to judge yourself. Like, we are being judged by every possible external force in our lives. Don't judge yourself. Even if the truth that you're honoring is like something you're really uncomfortable with. And this brings me to my next thing, that what I literally heard in my head was, we are living in the gray of it all. This is not a time for black and white, you know? We're living in an age, in an era where we're breaking the rules, we're blurring the lines, and we're saying, you know what? Maybe options 1 and 2 aren't the only options. Maybe secret option number 3 is really where my heart lies, right? So I just want to remind you, when you're being honest with yourself, know that the way that everybody else has done something is not the way that you need to do it. Don't try to fit yourself in a mold that isn't true to who you really are, just because that's what society, expects of you, or your friends and family, or maybe your partner expects of you. Do what makes your heart feel good. Do what makes you happy. Sorry if you can hear my cat in the background there. Her name is Luna, and she gets really upset when I'm in my office. Okay, so yeah, so that's where I'm at. We're living in the gray of it all. I want you to be honest with yourself this week, no matter how hard that might be. This, you know what I'm saying? Like, the reason that it might be so difficult is because when you're really honest with yourself, that might mean some big changes are headed towards you. Because when you're not living in your truth, it's really easy to continue living a life with those old rules. Because you're kind of stepping everything down, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm happy with this. I'm good where I'm at. But are you? Are you really? Are you just not upset with the way your life is? Or are you happy with the way your life is? I'm going to give you a moment to reflect on that. Because there's a difference. And that's what I'm talking about with this honesty with the self. If you want to make real change in your life, you know, and I'm not trying to promote this like, I need to constantly change mindset. No, I'm just saying, like, we all deserve to live a life that we love, a life that we cannot wait to wake up to, a life that we cherish every single day. And that doesn't mean that your life is going to be perfect, but it definitely means that it's a life worth living for you. You know, we shouldn't be trying to waste the day and get through the day. We should be like savoring every day, you know? And so I'm asking you, are you really being honest with yourself? Are you really happy with the way things are going? Just because the options in front of us aren't bad options that are necessarily going to upset us or be something we don't want doesn't mean it's the one we do want. So that was really the gist of it here. This other specific quote in my head was, there's treasure to be found in the depths of reflection and honesty with yourself and others. There's value there, even when these conversations that you might have this week, because that's the other vibe I'm picking up on with this Page of Swords is, you know, I spent the first few minutes focusing on conversations you might have to have with yourself, but this could be really honest conversations you may have to have with other people in your life. And that takes vulnerability. It takes a certain confidence in yourself to say, you know what, this is worth saying. I'm capable of having this conversation, and it takes a certain detachment of the outcome. Sometimes we don't say things to people because we're worried about what the outcome of it is going to be. It's not even necessarily sharing the information. It's what that other person's going to do with the information, right? So I'm urging you to be vulnerable enough to detach from that outcome. Detach from all the ways that you think that they might react and just say what needs to be said. Because how are people going to know how you feel if you don't tell them? It's like so simple. And I'm like kind of yelling at myself too. You know, like I am not exempt from any of these lessons. If anything, I feel like I'm living them out so I can help other people live through them. So That's the other vibe I'm getting from this card too, is like, how the hell are people going to know how you feel, right? Whether you're angry, whether you're holding in emotions that you haven't shared, whether you are, keeping things from them because you're keeping them from yourself. So that's why I brought back this idea of honesty with the self first, because you cannot be honest with anybody else if you are not being honest with you. So take this week to figure out what it is that you're not being honest with yourself about. Keep going. And then that's going to lead you to, okay, is there a second layer to this? Like, I've admitted my truth to myself without judgment, right? I've given myself grace to have these ideas and feelings that may not be traditional or may not be what I wish they were. And when I say wish they were, usually it's because we're hoping for like the easiest, outcome that has like the clearest path ahead. Sometimes when you're honest with yourself, you don't take the clearest path ahead. You have to build your own path, be a trailblazer in your own life, break the rules, and make your life what you want it to be. Tailor your life to yourself. So that's really it. I mean, that's the major energy here. Have a conversation with yourself and see if that conversation needs to be also had with somebody else. There could be somebody in your life that you're not fully expressing yourself to, like I said, because of the fear of judgment, the fear that they won't accept what it is that you have to say, that it might be an emotionally charged conversation. There's so many reasons that we keep things in, but I'm telling you, keeping those things in, whether you're keeping it from yourself and or the other person, is going to keep super stuck, stagnant, dense, heavy energy in your body, in your atmosphere, in your energy fields, and you just don't need that. Like, with everything that's going on in the world right now, we seriously do not need any more stuck, dense, stagnant energy. So it's like, if you're trying to build something in other areas of your life, but you have a major blockage in a different area, that could impact your entire life. We don't exist in these categories where it's like, okay, I have an issue going on at work. So that means my relationship, my mental health, and everything else, my social circle, how social I'm feeling, all that is going to be normal. No, we are human. So when something's going on in one area of our life, it is often not easy to compartmentalize that. We might think we're doing a good job at it, but we're probably not. And why should we, right? So honor yourself, love yourself enough to be honest with yourself, be real with yourself, be real with everybody around you, because like I said, how will they know if you don't say it? So this could also signify, just a heads up so you're not falling over shocked this week. This could mean someone's going to reach out to communicate with you. Perhaps an unsolved or unresolved situation in your life is going to be met with more clarity when this person does reach out to you too. So this could also not even just be a symbol of you initiating some sort of conversation or dialogue, but it could symbolize somebody else coming into your life to do that. And let me tell you, when I see the Page of Swords, oftentimes it is unexpected. This person, whatever it is they're going to say or whoever it is, oftentimes it's unexpected. Or if something just popped into your head or a certain person just popped into your head, that could be your intuition trying to give you a heads up. So again, you're not just falling over on the floor shocked in the middle of work or something. So another thing going on in this card is he's holding this plant, but to me, it seriously gives me, it resembles a quill. That's what I thought of when I first looked at it. And that made me think about okay, so maybe you need to write down some of these feelings. Maybe you need to journal to yourself. To be honest, when I have these really honest conversations with myself, sometimes I'm just chatting with myself in my head, as we all do, right? Not just me. Let's hope. But sometimes I'm journaling it. It's I am able to move that stuck, dense, heavy energy within me and physically get it out on the paper. And it's nice. I swear I feel lighter and I feel freer every time I do that. So sometimes, this real honesty is easier if you're sort of writing it. And so maybe that's what you have to do this week. This can also mean writing a letter to someone. This doesn't have to mean you send it to them, but it's like I said, it's a good way to get your feelings, your thoughts down on paper, the things that you wish you could say to them, the things that you wanted to say to them. And that might be a great way for you to move on and let something go. I want to bring up this idea of forgiveness because it's popping in my head, and a huge misconception of forgiveness is the fact that we need the other person to engage in a dialogue with us in order to forgive them. And I'm telling you, free yourself of that archaic idea, because you are more than capable of forgiving someone and still never talking to them again. If you decide like this is a person you really don't want in your life, or things are very complicated and you don't have the emotional capacity to have this conversation, it is still going to be helpful for you to get it out on paper. And then it's like there instead of rattling around in your head. This also means writing a letter to yourself. We had the Leo full moon last week, and one of the rituals that I did included writing a love letter to myself, So maybe this is, and I felt like I had to share that. So it's like maybe someone out there, if you've been feeling a little bit like you need a confidence boost, if you need to just for me, it was more like I just had to remind myself that I'm here for me, that I love me. Even though things might be challenging at times, or I may not always know the way forward, I always can rely on myself to never give up and to always move forward. And, I have a lot of self-esteem stuff that I'm healing from my past, a lot of old wounds surrounding how much I value myself. And so I thought, what a great idea it would be to write a love letter to myself. I am so good at sharing, verbally, my positive feelings with other people. I'm someone that if I feel strongly about you, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to say it, right? This is, minus the times I feel very vulnerable, because it is tough for me to be vulnerable sometimes. So if you're someone that's like that, know that you're not alone. So maybe you need to write a love letter to yourself. What do you love about yourself? My ritual actually for the full moon last week was I wrote one letter that was a sort of I've done a series of these. This isn't the first one I've done, but it's a letter to my past self, where I forgive her. I allow her to let go of some really, intense things that I've been carrying around. And like I said, it's been a series of letters because there's a lot there for me to let go of. And then after that, I did the ritual with the rest of the letter. And then after that, to end on a positive note, and a letter I wanted to actually keep on my ancestral altar, was this love letter to myself, so that I am always reminded of my resiliency, of my courage, of my self-love, and I'm always reminded of my real value, no matter what's going on in my life. I felt called to share that, so maybe these are ideas that's going to help someone out there who needs a bit of a boost, or just some ideas about things to do. I feel like sometimes creatively, if you're going through a lot, you can feel stuck in well, I want to do something, but what do I do? So those are some ideas. Last thoughts here. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes. What else did I write down? Oh, okay. This is a big one. Be confident in your feelings. So when we're being honest with ourselves and when we're being honest with other people, there's that. This one, I guess, is specifically for when you're being honest with other people. It's sometimes the other person's perception of the same situation is not the same as yours. You could have an altercation or a falling out or whatever it is, and have two completely different views about what went down. And so this is this reminder of be confident in how you feel, because no one is in your head and no one is in your heart. Just because they saw this situation in a totally different way, took it totally differently than you, does not mean that you are wrong and they are right. You can both be right about how you feel, because our feelings are always valid. Do not look for external validation for your own feelings. If you feel how you feel, then you feel it. And no one can tell you that how you feel is wrong. I just really want to say that, because I've been put in that situation many times in the past. I've had friends and family all put in that situation where someone's trying to tell you that you're wrong for feeling how you feel, or you shouldn't feel a certain way. screw that. No, they're not in your head. They're not in your heart. They don't know what you think about before you go to bed. They don't know what makes your heart ache, what you regret. They don't understand the way that they might have come off when they said XYZ to you. So I just want you to know, be confident. You know how you feel. And you know what? If that differs from the other person, you're going to have to agree to disagree and move on from it. It is what it is. But don't let them try to tell you how to feel. That's bullshit. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So with the way this page is posed, right? Not only does he have like a more lighthearted energy to me than the traditional Rider-Waite, like he just has this like very confident, chill expression, right? Like he's not in a hurry, which is funny because normally some might associate the Page of Swords with like quick movement. He more to me seems like he's ready to move forward, right? But he is not moving in haste. He understands that he will need to journey into the unknown. So it's like the vibe I'm getting from him right now looking at it is like, okay, he's emerged from the cage, or he's emerged from the cave. He has newfound clarity that's going to allow him to move forward in his journey because he's being honest with himself. He's being honest with everybody else. He has all of this new information and he has a different lens on the journey forward because of all of this like healing that he's done. And so I just want to remind you that after you go through these periods of reflection and like mental angst and all of this stuff, right? Like reflecting and delving into the past and delving into your wounds and delving into the honesty with yourself is not easy shit. Like, let's be real for a second. Just like I always say, like I try to tell people, like your spiritual journey is not going to be like this beautiful, it's not all beautiful and, crystals and like laying in the sun and whatever. No, it's crying. It is being angry and letting those feelings flow through you so you can release them. It's dealing with the regrets that you have and realizing that you can't change anything, right? It's purging. And purging is really mentally and emotionally taxing, but it is worth it. And that's what I'm trying to remind you of right now. This sort of like victory look on his face, right? Like he's seen some shit. He's been to hell and back. And he's like, but I'm okay because now I can move forward in my journey, understanding that I have to walk straight forward into the unknown. I am ready to journey into the unknown. And while there used to be a lack of comfort with journeying into the unknown, it's almost like he has a newfound comfort in the fact that he doesn't have to know everything. So I'm someone specifically that is recovering from always having to have 5 to 10 steps ahead planned out and ready to go. And so if that's you out there, I'm letting you know you're not alone. But also I understand this newfound comfort because when you let go of the burden of always having to know what is next, you're free. You don't always have to be 10 steps ahead. You can be in the present moment. That's really the best place for you to be. So if you're too stuck in the past or you're too stuck in the future, that's depression and that's anxiety. But if you're in the present moment, you can face every situation that comes your way with the clarity and the mindfulness of the present. You are not taking into account so many things from your past that are going to cloud your judgment. And you are not worrying so much on how to manipulate things so you get the outcome that you want in the future. And so I remind you, let go, detach, purge the need to know what is going to come next. That is like a huge theme. I feel like that's going to be coming up this year. And so we're going to have to get comfortable with it because, purging that need, that's a tough one. That was tough for me. But I'm honestly loving it. Like the more I lean into not having to know what's going to happen next, the more I lean into the present moment, the freer and more light that I feel. I don't have this burden because it's like, yeah, I'm acknowledging that as a human living in this earth right now, I don't have to have everything figured out. And so many of us can be like hard on ourselves and assume and expect that we need to have everything figured out, but we don't. It's really that easy. It's really that simple. We're just taught in so many ways in society that's not true, but it is. So I'm here to remind you of that. Let go of needing to have shit figured out, because you really don't. Just stay in the present moment, and that is seriously going to guide you, especially if you're using your intuition while you face these things in the present. That's going to be your guide. Your intuition is never going to lead you in the wrong direction. And that's why I felt it necessary a little while ago to say, don't let people interfere. Don't let external validation or input really sway you too much, because your intuition within you is what's guiding you. We're looking for all these external resources, right? Myself included sometimes, but it's like you are the person that you're looking for. You are the person that's guiding you, your higher self, your intuition. So it's like, yeah, I know we're all meeting here and coming here to like talk about like, holy crap, like this journey's crazy. And that's kind of why I started this whole thing, this Monday Mensaje, just because like life is crazy. And I felt like, I cannot be the only person going through these things. I understand at this stage of my spiritual awakening that we are all mirrors of each other, that we are all going through the same thing. Like if you're going through hardships right now, the collective is a mirror of itself. So there are other people experiencing the same thing. And I thought, what would make it more worth it to go through all of this? To be able to help other people going through it too, so that they know they're not alone, because sometimes that's what we really need to know. So I'm here and I'm helping, but I also am turning you back to yourself, because you know more than anybody else about your situation. You know more than anybody else about your life. You know how you really, really feel, even if you haven't, like I said, had that tough conversation with yourself yet. So the last major message I have here is take care of your mental health this week. Like I said, purging, healing, releasing, diving into the past, it is extremely emotionally, mentally taxing. And so I want you to create space this week for you to really nurture yourself, heal yourself, make your mental health a priority. Because if your mind is not right, nothing else in your life is going to be right. And I just want to also say, too, what's popping in my head is this reminder of not all of your thoughts are accurate, okay? Our anxieties and fears can seriously shape things in our mind and make them totally different from reality. So when you create a calm, centered mind, when you take a step back from all those fears and anxieties, is where you often find the clarity that you're seeking. You just have to, in some ways, surrender to not doing anything about the thing you're worried about and just see how it plays out. Like I said, we're releasing this burden of knowing what the hell was coming next and what it's all for and why we're going through this. No, don't analyze. Stop analyzing everything. Just relax. Just take a deep breath. So that's what I have this week for our Monday Mensaje. And with this message, every week I try to do a different theme for the messages for the signs. And I feel like I'm loving it. I feel like a lot of you are really loving it too from what the feedback that I'm getting. So I'm thinking of adding in this whole pulling cards for the signs like weekly. And we could kind of change the theme of what I'm asking and decks and all that. So with this last closing message I received of making sure our mental health is on track, I pulled out my Heal Your Damn Self deck, which I will link below because it is an incredible, incredible resource. The people who made this deck are actually a beautiful family that work together. So I'll link where you can buy this deck below. They're phenomenal. And it really helps me because sometimes we need a little bit of real life clarity on how we can heal, what parts of myself need this healing the most. So I've already pre-shuffled, cards are ready to go, but I have not looked at them yet. So Pisces, it's your season. You're up first. What within you really, really needs the focus of your healing this week? Okay, Pisces, feel successful. I love that. That's a great one. Okay, so release those self-doubts, release those fears, because those are blocks to your success. And I want you to spend some time this week visualizing and feeling what it would be like to be so like intoxicated from your own success? What does it feel like for you to be successful? What does success mean to you? And also be confident, because this is a symbol of the fact that success is coming your way. You're on the right track. So stop doubting yourself. We all know our intuition during this season is heightened, and it's your season. So, I want to say these messages are for sun, moon, and rising. So wherever this resonates for you, start feeling successful, because it's coming. It's your season. Know what it's like to be confident and not doubt your own capabilities. Aries, love more. So I would say definitely, do some healing with your heart chakra. Do some affirmation. So, healing with your heart chakra. You could get some crystals that really help with the heart chakra. Do some meditations with those. You can find some sound bowl healing for heart chakra. You can do some journaling about what maybe is stuck, like keeping your heart stuck. What have you been sad about, longing for, regretting, right? And also just know that it's safe to love. It's safe to love. I know that you probably have your guard up, and that's, the reason why you need to love more. So it's not only about you extending your love. I feel like this message is also more about receiving love. Are you allowing yourself to receive love and support, or are you isolating yourself? Because I guarantee that there are people in your life that would be more than willing to help lighten your load, that would be willing to be there for you, to be a listening ear, or someone to take you out and do something fun and distract you, or someone that can check in on you. So if there's been some sort of feelings you've been holding back, because I'm now thinking Page of Swords combo with this love more, maybe there's someone you need to express your feelings to. Taurus, money moves. Okay, Taurus, I love that. So, in healing yourself, this could have to do with healing your mindset around money, your mindset around abundance. Are you living in scarcity mindset? Make sure you Google that term. You'll probably find some really helpful information. And if you start resonating with it, then you'll be like, oh, this is resonating, and I need to heal my scarcity mindset. This is also a symbol that for some of you, maybe some money is coming towards your way. So if you've been calling in that abundance into your life, if you've been calling that ease of making money into your life, know that it's on the way. So, stop stressing about it. Stop holding so tightly onto it, because more is coming your way. And also know that whenever you're trying to manifest money, the best way to do that is to give it to somebody who needs it. So maybe this is a sign for you to also donate a little bit of money to one of your favorite charities. Gemini, divine superhero. I love this. These messages are great so far this week. Divine superhero. Wow, Gemini, you're strong and powerful. Have you forgotten that? So maybe this is a call for you to look inwards. Maybe you need to write that love letter to yourself. Remember who you are. And with this symbol, divine superhero, it's are you tapping into your gifts, your spiritual gifts? Are you tapping into the ways that you can make things happen for yourself in your life? Are you tapping into the ways that you can make things happen with your mindset? So it's pay attention to your mind, pay attention to the thoughts you're thinking, because where you focus your energy is usually what comes to fruition. So make sure that you're focusing on good things, but also be confident in your abilities. Be confident in your intuition. If you're feeling like the vibe's off, it's off. If you're feeling like, oh, I got to do this thing, even though it doesn't make sense, do it. So listen to your intuition, listen to your guides, pay attention to the signs around you, because you know more than you even think you do. Cancer, divine partnership. So maybe there's some healing, Cancer, in some relationships. And this doesn't have to just be romantic. This could be familial relationships, friends, right? New romances, anybody. So maybe there's something you need to say to this person that you're keeping in. Maybe there's some sort of throat chakra blockage. So, take that as it resonates. Focus your energy on how you can make these partnerships more harmonious? What do they need? What do you need? And again, this comes back to this message of the week with honesty, right? So be honest with them and be honest with you. Leo, good things coming, Leo. Wow, this is phenomenal. So, as far as healing, I feel like you're doing pretty good. But also, what's coming to mind too is this idea of believe good things are coming, right? Because this is like letting you know, like, hey, if you needed a sign, it's on its way to you. But also, how much easier and faster would it come into your atmosphere if you were expecting it and hoping for it, right? So again, similar thing with Gemini, it's like know where your mindset is, right? And this is this thing about mental health this week too, coming back into play, where it's like believe good things are happening to you. Believe things are going to work out in the best possible way for you. The more that you really seriously trust in that, the more it's real, the more it's true. So get ready, because it seems like some good things are going to come into your life. Could even be this week. Virgo, drama free is your message. Virgo, listen, you don't need this drama right now. You don't. So if there's something with somebody in your life that's like causing you a little bit of it's like ruffling your feathers, as some say, or it's like making you a little bit annoyed. Like, let's say you're in this new stage. What I'm getting is like you're in this new stage of peace, right? And people are trying to fuck with your peace. Don't let them do that. So this could be a sign that someone this week is going to test you and try to come in with their drama. Don't let them. Remind yourself that you are a new version of you. You have to look at old situations, old people, old scenarios, old triggers with your new mindset, with your new healed mindset. Take a step back, take a deep breath before you answer that text. Maybe don't pick up the phone if you're not feeling like communicating at that moment, because that's your intuition saying this isn't the right time for you. You're not in the right mind. You're not in the right headspace. And protect your peace. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. Libra, put your phone down, Libra, okay? Get off your phone. Do it. Maybe there's something that you keep, I get this thing, it's like you keep checking something. So maybe it's like checking on somebody, checking on something, maybe like analytics, like let's say you have like your own business, or you're someone that's like always available and checking your email like at work, even though it's 8:30 at night and you are definitely not getting paid to be working. So whatever it is you're doing, whatever these attachments are to your phone, put them down. If you're on your phone because you're talking to someone, how about you just like see them in real life? That is way better than being attached to your phone and allowing yourself to be absorbed in everything else that's on your phone, right? So don't use keeping in touch with certain people to be a crutch, right? Like just tell them that you want to go get coffee, but definitely detach from anything from work, anything from a person, whatever's draining you. You need some time away from screens. So maybe get outside, play some music, do something that's going to reconnect you with yourself, because that's probably where some of that clarity you're looking for is going to be, in those spaces where you're not distracted. Oh, and that could be it. That's what I'm getting to, is like maybe you're distracting yourself from something with your phone. And like I said this week, time for honesty with the self and others. So maybe why you're distracting yourself is because you need to face some stuff. Scorpio, share your gifts. Aw, that's sweet. Some of the Scorpios I know are like the most loving, giving people in the world. Oh my God, they get such a bad rap, but seriously, like they're some of the most selfless people. When they love you, they will do anything for you. These are just like large, stereotypes, but I really I'm thinking of specific people right now. Share your gifts, right? So maybe this heal yourself, share your gifts situation is more about the fact that you've done some healing recently. Maybe you are finally in a place to help other people with some of the same lessons that you've recently learned. So share your gifts. And I'm also getting this feeling of being, let me think. It's like sharing your gifts and helping others is going to feel so rewarding to you. And it's like, that's the gift to yourself. It's that rewarding feeling of sharing with others, because you're going to see what a difference you made for that person. So maybe reach out to somebody that's been on your mind that you're like, oh, I kind of know they're going through a tough time, or, donate your time to someone who needs it. Be a listening ear for somebody, help someone through something with a little bit more of an objective lens. There's so many ways to help others. So whatever your gifts are, this particular card has a little chef on it. It's so cute. So maybe cook somebody a meal. Maybe make someone feel loved with the work you've put in to cook for them. And that's one of my favorite ways to receive love. Let me tell you, I don't love to cook. So if people cook for me, that's it. I'm yours. Okay. Sagittarius, healthy habits. So Sagittarius, what habits do you think are not necessarily serving you anymore? What habits do you have? This could be like crutches, like things when you're upset that you do that maybe aren't in your best interest anymore. Because again, you're evolving, you're growing. Does this current version of you need that thing? Probably not. Sometimes we just get stuck in cycles, but we really have outgrown the crutches in our lives. This also means maybe inserting some new healthy habits into your life. So maybe you're going to start journaling. Maybe you're going to start meditating. Maybe you're going to start moving your body a certain number of days a week in order to bring that renewed energy in, to shake up this stagnant energy around you. Go for a walk, play your favorite song, and dance in your room, I don't know, I just see this movement thing. But what other healthy habits, right? Maybe you need to eat a little healthier and dedicate some time to nurturing yourself. So what are some healthy habits that you can incorporate that are realistic and going to allow you to continue living your regular life, but just enhance it? Next up, Aquarius. Your card this week for healing yourself is no. So maybe, if you've been having something on your mind and you're kind of swinging back and forth on it, then, and you've been looking for an answer, this could be a couple people I'm talking to, no is your answer. But what I really get from this is saying no. You need to say no. And again, stereotypes, but I have a very, very close Aquarius to my heart in my life. And this person is definitely, I don't know. It's they'll put everybody else first and be the one to deal with not liking the end result just because everybody else is happy, right? They're willing to sacrifice themselves. So if you've been sacrificing yourself and choosing everybody's happiness over your own, this is your sign to choose your own happiness. Say no. If you don't feel like going to that thing, say no. Send a card, all right? Send a text. Thinking of you, whatever. Can't wait to get back to normal and see you soon, all right? If you don't want to go somewhere, use your intuition. There's a reason why you don't want to go there. If you don't want to talk to that person or take that opportunity or whatever it is, do not do it. Don't do it. It's really, you got to listen to your intuition. Because saying yes to things that we should have said no to can sometimes create major drama in our lives. And then you're kind of why did I not listen to myself? So this is a sign. Maybe there's something you have to say no to this week. And just so you know, don't feel guilty about it. Just do what's best for you without guilt. And last but not least, our beautiful Capricorns, solar plexus chakra. So, like I said earlier, find some crystals that work with your solar plexus chakra. Do some meditations with them. Do some affirmations. You can Google affirmations for solar plexus chakra. You can receive some sound healing. I'll also link this incredible channel many people know of, Healing Vibrations, and he does specific sound bowl healing for certain chakras. So maybe you want to go listen to that while you have your crystals for your sacral chakra and you're doing your affirmations, and look at the themes of the sacral chakra solar plexus chakra, because that is going to pinpoint some imbalances in your life. So look at the themes of the solar plexus chakra, see how that relates to something that you're going through right now. And then you can, look into some ways to start healing it. And maybe some of those themes you're going to find are themes that you need to do some digging and be honest with yourself about, right? So this message, I feel like, could tie into these conversations, honesty, stuff like that we were talking about with the weekly message. So tend to your solar plexus chakra. Okay, I hope that these messages help you throughout the week. Please like this video if anything I said resonated or was just helpful. I'm super excited about continuing to do this every week. Every week I feel like is better and more exciting, and I really appreciate all of your support. Subscribe, that way you are always up to date on the newest video. And also, really quick, last special announcement. Tomorrow on the 2222022 portal, okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. It is an incredible day. Numerology wise, right? We're not going to get a day like this with this many twos until 2222. So tomorrow is an incredibly special day. It's Tuesday, and it is also the day that I am launching my handmade tools for spiritual development. I am so thrilled. I'm going to be putting up some spiritual baths. I also have a loose smudge herb that's going to cleanse your space, crystals, anything you need it to, and also some fixed candles that are going to help you connect with your ancestors. I have a release and receive bundle. I have manifestation candles. So I'm starting out small, but this is really just the beginning. And so if you're interested in checking out anything I have to offer, you can head to theglamspirit.com or go to my Instagram, because you can see tons of pictures and explanations about everything. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks for being here with me again. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.